Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days. Well, today's video takes us to the middle of June, and we'll be able to extend out beyond that the extended GFS and ECM ensembles, which run to around a couple of weeks. Have a look at Beijing Climate Centre today for the next 40 days. That's going to take us well into July. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to say hello and thank you very much to our latest patron. So we've got a new patron. We're up to 59 patrons now. I'm going to say hello and thank you so much to Gareth Latham. Gareth Latham has become Gazov's 59th patron. A big thank you to you, Gareth, for becoming our latest patron. If you'd like to become a patron for Gazov, all you need to do is come to the Gazov's Patreon page, sign up for a Patreon account, and then you can become a patron for Gazov's by pledging an ongoing monthly donation. It can be anything from $1 a month upwards to Gazov's, and by doing that, you become a patron for Gazov's. You pool in with all of our other patrons, and that's how you become a patron for Gazov's. So a big thank you to Gareth, and a big thank you to all of Gazov's patrons. Alternatively, there is PayPal. This is Gazov's PayPal page. So with this, very simple, you just come to this page. And we link to both Patreon and PayPal on all the pages of Gazov's and in the description at YouTube. So you just come to the PayPal page. You sign into your PayPal account and then you send a one-off donation to Gazov's. And again, you'll get a shout out in the videos to say thank you very much for becoming a donor for Gazov's, as long as you want one. A few people have chosen to stay anonymous. That's absolutely fine. Just leave a little note to let us know that's what you want, and we're happy to do that for you. So thank you so much to all of our PayPal donors. Thank you so much to all of our patrons. Special thank you to latest patron Gareth Latham. Big thank you to you, Gareth. Right, so let's get on with the video then. I'm going to start off with the Arctic and North Atlantic Oscillation observed and forecast charts. So we're in a prolonged negative phase of the AO at the moment. The black line here showing where we've been with the Arctic Oscillation, red lines at the end, where the GFS ensembles are forecasting the Arctic Oscillation to go in the next couple of weeks. So where we are right now is just there. We're negative with the AO. We first went negative with the Arctic Oscillation through early April, and we generally stayed negative or trended negative with the AO pretty much since then. GFS ensembles, indicated by red lines here, showing that as we go into the middle part of June, then on into the second half of the month, the forecast is very much to keep the AO on the negative side of neutral. So it looks like there's no end yet to this northern blocking series. Remember, it's always the weather that drives the index, so the reason the AO is negative there is because we've got high pressure blocking over the northern latitudes around Greenland and over North Pole. When you have high pressure blocking, it'll send the AO spiralling down into negative territory. There's no sign of an end to that in the next couple of weeks, as far as the GFS ensembles are concerned. At the same time, the NAO has also been in a prolonged negative phase. So again, the black line shows where we've been with the NAO, red lines at the end where the GFS ensembles are forecasting the NAO to go. We started this negative phase of the NAO back through the first half of April, and generally we've been trending negative with the NAO through April and into May as well. In fact, the whole of May was negative with the NAO. That's where we are right now, still negative with the NAO, and you'll see that the GFS ensembles, if anything, they're forecasting the NAO to go even more negative as we go into the middle of June. I think there's definitely a trend into increased negativity of the NAO from where it is in the next few days down to around that sort of level as we go through the second week of June perhaps. So both the indexes negative still as we go into the middle part of June. There's no sign of an end yet to this prolonged negative phase of either the AO or the NAO, and this tells us that weather patterns are likely to stay quite abnormal. We're likely to keep appreciable levels of northern blocking going in the northern latitudes, and that could keep us cooler and at times perhaps more unsettled too. So these are the 500 millibar height anomaly flowcharts from the Penn State University. We've got the ECMWF on the top and the GFS is on the bottom. Have a look at it in a moment. These are mean flowcharts for the next week to 10 days. This takes us up to, or perhaps even a little bit beyond, the middle of June. 500 millibars is an area in the atmosphere, high pressure, low pressure, being moved around by the jet stream running above. Red extrapolates to high pressure, blue to low pressure. And look at this big blocking signal from the ECMWF in terms of the 500 millibar height anomaly. High pressure ray colours extending right away from the north of Scotland all the way back into the top of the North Pole. This is what's sending both the AO and the NAO crashing into negative territory. It's the weather that drives the index, and so because we've got all of this blocking within the northern latitudes, that pushes the AO and NAO indexes negative. So high pressure is blocking to our north in the week to 10 day time frame, taking us up to the middle of June. Low pressure is cut off to the south around Spain and Portugal. This could start to bring in drier conditions from the east or northeast. Won't be a heat wave, I wouldn't have thought. Wind direction is likely to still be kind of like north of east, but it may turn things a little bit dry. That's a very strong blocking area of high pressure that we've got there, and it is blocking off the Atlantic. So maybe drier as we go into the middle part of June, but I don't expect it to be all that warm. Precipitation, what am I talking about? GFS is looking like this for the next week, 10 days. Again, the above average heights over the top of the UK and extending back into the north as well. That's a little bit more centred with high pressure over top of the country though. So that could be a bit drier, maybe a bit warmer as well. Might be bringing up sort of some southeasterlies there. But the idea is still that high pressure is still blocking within the northern latitudes. Right, these are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. The red line here is the 30-year upper air temperature average. We're at London today, so generally quite cool for the next week. You'll see that overall the upper air temperatures are trending cool until around, say, 13th, 14th of June. Then going a bit warmer than average for a time around the middle part of the month. And then just very close to average really, as we go into the second half of June. That's that period just there, of course. Maybe a little bit above average. There's a bit of scatter. Some quite hot outlier members are up here. Some pretty cool outlier members are down there. Overall, it doesn't look like there's a big deviation. So, quite cool for the next week. Then warmer for a time before probably quite close to average. Precipitation-wise, we have lost some of the rainfall spikes. So we've got heavy rain coming up from Storm Miguel tonight and tomorrow. So that's going to give us a bit of a soaking as we go through Friday into the weekend. Been a bit showery early next week, but after that, it does look as though the eastern ensembles are trending towards drier conditions. So I think things are going to dry out for the middle of June. Not necessarily going to get all that warm, but it does look as though things will be drying out, especially for more southern parts of the country, I think, as we head towards the middle part of June. Temperature anomalies from the 6th to the 14th of June. Overall, a little bit below average, a little bit cooler than average still for the UK, for Ireland, for most parts of Western Europe as well. Precipitation anomalies from the 6th to 14th of June. A little bit wetter than average for most parts of the country. That's primarily in the next 24 to 48 hours, I have to say. After that, probably not overly wet. This is how the GFS operational run is in terms of the 6 o'clock run of the GFS. So that's Storm Miguel just there, clearing away from northern Scotland by the time we get through to Sunday, leaving us rather showery over the weekend. Those showery conditions continue into the early part of next week as well. Now, through the middle part of next week, it's time to raise pressure across the country. We have got this annoying area of low pressure that's sitting around Germany. So, high pressure is trying to rise to our west and northwest, but low pressure is to our east-northeast. It's bringing in quite a cool sort of north-northeast breeze. They're not going to be particularly warm, but I think it will start to trend drier as we go through the course of next week. However, that low pressure really is a pain sitting just to our east as we go into the second half of next week. So that's where it is on Friday next week. It's over sort of the low countries, and at the very least, it'll be bringing in quite a bit of cloud to eastern parts of the country. It may bring showery rain onto the east coast as well, which would be a bit of a nuisance. But otherwise, pressure is trying to rise to our north and west. We're trying to go into a drier, more settled period. Actually, we get through to the 15th of June. We finally make it. We finally have the high pressure taking over, albeit the high pressure is taking over from the north. So its centre is up here. It's northern blocking. It's a northern blocking area of high pressure. But it is settling us down, at least briefly, at least for a while, settling us down around the middle part of the month. However, as ever with northern blocking, the danger is always that you'll start to run in low pressure underneath it. So it's not very long at all, 17th of June, just a little bit beyond day 10, but low pressure is starting to run back in underneath the blocking area of high pressure. And then in the extended range with GFS run, we go very unsettled once again to the second half of June, with low pressure continuing to pile in from off the Atlantic. So only briefly more settled around the middle part of June, not particularly warm, then back to unsettled conditions again in the second half of the month. That's the GFS operational run. This is GFS parallel. Again, rather showery conditions on Sunday. As we go into next week, still rather cool and showery, really. Again, same idea. We've got this high pressure out to our north and west. We've got northern blocking around Greenland and Iceland. But underneath it, we're not getting rid of this low pressure. Unfortunately, that's continuing to produce showery bursts of rain through the course of next week. Eventually, by the time we get through to day 10, the parallel GFS run does start to send a ridge down across the country. So, again, by the time you get through to the middle of June, things are just turning a little bit more settled. It's not particularly warm, but it's more settled. And in the June sunshine, it won't be feeling too bad. In the more extended range, this high pressure actually hangs on a little bit better with the parallel run compared to the operational GFS run. So that's 18th of June, for example. High pressure then is sitting just to our south and southeast. We are actually starting to drag out some quite warm air from the south. That looks very warm on Thursday the 20th of June. It's 348 hours away, so we're a long way out now. But it is bringing up some very warm air from the south, probably turning a little bit thundery. By the time we get through to the end of the parallel GFS run, which is to Saturday 22nd of June, just on to ridge this high pressure back in from the Azores. So this is a drier and warmer solution from the parallel GFS compared to the operational GFS run for the second half of June, most definitely. ECM looks like that, rather showery on Sunday. The remains of Storm Miguel clearing away to our northeast, going off up there. That takes us into Monday and Tuesday, when we're still looking rather showery, really troughs close to the country. Through Wednesday and Thursday, high pressure then starts to take over out to the northwest of us. So winds are still coming in from a north-northeast direction. Not warm particularly, but it is settling down. It's turning drier through the middle and second half of next week. As we go up towards day 10, that's how we look. So high pressure then is out to our west. Low pressure is to our south and southeast. It looks like we're being attacked from two directions. There's a trough sinking down into Scandinavia. That's going to try and get wind into the north. There's also this low pressure down here to our south. That's going to try and bring thundery conditions up from France, probably. So it gets a little bit complicated with the ECM by day 10. But we do get a few days of drier conditions heading into the middle part of the month. These are the options that we've got on the table within the ECM ensembles today. So this is taking us to the 16th of June. It's 10 days away. Loads of options on the table telling us that there is continuing to be a lot of uncertainty within the model output as we get towards day 10. So, we've got 11 members of the ECM ensembles with a blocking area of high pressure around Greenland and a trough of low pressure to, let's change the colour, trough of low pressure to our northeast. They're cool and unsettled with those 11 just there. There's 10 with low pressure rolling in from off the Atlantic, and big blocking area of high pressure up towards Greenland. They're unsettled as well. Not as cool as these, but certainly they're quite unsettled with those 10. There's 9 with high pressure out to our west. Low pressure is to the south. They could be trying to turn things a little bit thundering. Might be a slightly warmer option with those. There's 9 with high pressure over Greenland and also a mid-Atlantic ridge. Low pressure is to our east. They're cool and showery. Winds will be coming in from the north. There's 9, including the operational ECM run, which we're just looking at, but it's more anticyclonic at day 10. High pressure sitting just to the west-northwest of us. So that's a drier option with that, but not particularly well supported. There's 3 with high pressure just a little bit to our east. They'd be bringing up warmer southeast winds. So with so many options on the table for day 10, all we can say is that there continues to be a lot of uncertainty about the weather as we're heading into the middle part of June. Very, very uncertain period indeed. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. So this is taking us to the 21st of June. Low pressure is out to our west with these 18 bringing in unsettled conditions off the Atlantic. 15 have low pressure a little bit further to the northwest, some high pressure to our south. They're kind of like trying to settle things down and warm things up, particularly to the south. There's 11 with high pressure just near the country, just to our northeast. They're bringing in easy winds. They're a drier, warmer option. And then there's 7 with low pressure to west of Ireland, and of course they're a much more unsettled option too. Generally, I think the ECM ensemble is looking quite unsettled in 2 weeks' time, but with so much uncertainty at day 10, I think we have to say that anything from the middle of June onwards is very, very speculative indeed. Beijing Climate Centre looking like this. These are 500 millibar heights broken down into 10-day periods. The first 10-day period will take us from the 6th through to the 15th of June with below average heights just out to our west and some above average heights in the Atlantic. Looking rather unsettled, rather showery in the coming 10 days. The next 10-day period shows a change, though. This is taking us from the 16th to the 25th of June with above average heights building in over the country. So Beijing Climate Centre wants to turn things down and warm things up into the second half of June. That's summer returning for the second half of June from mid-month through to the 25th. The next 10-day period, which is the 26th of June to the 5th of July, with above average heights out to our west, and we're tending in to bring the winds from the northwest rather like that. So still relatively settled, but probably a bit cooler, and for the north, maybe a little bit more showery. And then go through to the final 10-day period, days 31 to 40, takes us from the 6th to the 15th of July. Looks like we've got above average heights going out to the northwest then, below average heights starting to develop down to our southwest. So probably, if anything, beginning to turn more unsettled, I would have thought there, as we're heading up towards the middle part of July. Maybe starting to break down the drier conditions from late June and early July, probably turning more unsettled as we get through towards going towards the middle part of July anyway. So finally, let's just finish up having a look at tomorrow's precipitation with Storm Miguel. So we'll go to Weather Online, and this is the precipitation forecast from Euro 4. So this at midnight, you'll see that we've got rain just beginning to move across from the channel in towards the south coast at midnight. Otherwise, most places are dry. And as we go through the early hours, that rain gathers down to the south, becoming heavy and persistent across Wales, southwest England, central southern England by 9 o'clock in the morning. East Anglia, southeast England, not too wet. And as we go through the course of tomorrow morning, that rain pushes northwards and eastwards. Heavy outbreaks of rain spreading northwards. Could be a little bit thundery at times as well. So most parts of England and Wales looking wet as we get through 2-3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Beginning to clear a bit down in the south, but suggestion there that there's heavy showers in the channel, maybe thunderstorms in the channel following that wet weather. And as the rain pushes northwards into northern England, southern Scotland, you'll see we are breaking out heavy showers here tomorrow evening across particularly parts of the Midlands, and also maybe into the southeastern corner too. They could be funny. That could be thunderstorms drifting up from France tomorrow, late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, following that main band of wet weather. They could be pretty torrential and quite slow moving too. As far as we can go to 6 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, where the wet weather then is in this hawk from Scotland into Northern Ireland, back in towards Northern England. Still some showers left across parts of the Midlands. It does look like it's going to give quite a soaking to many parts of the country tomorrow. Let's have a look at the precipitation accumulation, see how much rainfall we can expect with this. So again, starting around now, very little precipitation accumulation, but going through into tomorrow, you'll see how the accumulation increases, and it looks like it's going to turn really wet on the western side, actually. So the highest totals are clocking up here, kind of like through Wales up to northwestern parts of England, where we're going up to kind of like 40-50 millimetres, but quite widely across England and Wales. We're going to be talking about sort of 15 to 25 millimetres. 25 millimetres is an inch. It doesn't look quite as wet both for the far eastern side of the country. So Yorkshire, Lincolnshire, East Anglia. It looks like there we're only talking about less than 10 millimetres, so not great for that eastern side of the country. That is particularly where we need the rain, of course, over on that eastern side of the country. It's not great there in terms of the accumulated precipitation, but certainly through the Midlands, central southern England, over to Wales, up to northwest England, this does look like a little bit of a soaker. So we shall see how that pans out. And obviously, once that low pressure moves northwards, we're also going to get quite strong winds as well across England and Wales as Storm Miguel pushes up to Scotland. That will be sort of Friday night into Saturday. So quite a big summer area of low pressure to deal with in the next 24 to 48 hours. Right, that's it for your main video for today. We'll be back later on with an update for download and also for the Isle of Wight Festival. Update number 3 for those, I think. So if you've got any interest in download or Isle of Wight Festival weather, come back later on this evening. And it won't be all that long before we start going off into the Glastonbury updates. That'll be next weekend. Tomorrow, January Friday, will be coming up and have another week to 10-day video update as well tomorrow. So keep checking back to all of the updates. But that's all for now, and thanks for watching.